Hi everyone and welcome to another November 2021 forecast video here at Zenfinex. My name is Connor and I'm the Senior Market Analyst at the company, and I'm going to be providing to you today's video which is going to cover the silver market. For today's video, what I'm going to do is start fresh on the fundamentals side and explain what's going to drive the prices in November. Then I'm going to move straight onto the chart and complete a technical analysis which is going to leave you with a well-balanced forecast for an intriguing silver market. Enjoy. So let's take a look at US yields first, a fact that I've always spoken about when it comes to silver. Precious metals tend to struggle in an environment where yields are rising, and we did see quite a significant sell-off, I'd say, on the US 10-year chart. But more significantly, it failed to break any structure to the downside, and it is still trading comfortably above 1.5%. If this is the case throughout November, then you could expect silver to continue to struggle, or maybe continue to be in this consolidation pattern that we've seen for so long. However, this aggressive kind of flattening of the curve means investors, to be fair, are now calculating what the curve suggests about expectations of economic growth and the rate at which the US Federal Reserve could tighten monetary policy as inflation continues to rise. Now, all of these factors that I speak about. It's going to come down to this Federal Reserve meeting we have next week. They've actually been in a blackout before their policy meeting next week, and as a result we've seen the markets pausing really. Do not expect this to last too long. There's a storm on the way, I'd say, as we have the jobs report next week, and it won't change the Federal Reserve decision to begin tapering in November, but Jerome Powell might emphasise short-term rate hikes are still quite far away, i.e. not until 2022/2023. However, I do think there's still a feeling hawkish risks from the Federal Reserve are actually underpriced. Therefore, we could see the dollar continue to trade higher in November after 3 weeks of losses so far this month. This could put pressure on silver, but for me it is the most important fundamental factor to look at for the first few weeks of the month is this Federal Reserve policy decision next week. As always, we're going to provide you an updated silver forecast in a few weeks where things may be a lot clearer than they are now. But for now, I would recommend listening to that conference next week, so I think it's going to have effect on all the factors that I've discussed. Let's take a look at the chart and have a look at the technical levels. Looking at the chart for silver, we're actually really in such an interesting position at the moment. But when I look at the overall picture, yes, we've had this recovery from the beginning of October, and October has been a good month for silver, and that is no surprise that we've also had nearly 3 weeks of decline in the US dollar as well, and we've had that sell-off in the US Treasury yield, but I'm expecting that to flip side into next month. And when you actually look at the overall picture, you can see that we have these lows here, really significant lows, which have actually, I know it wasn't a convincing break, but it still was a close below these lows, and it was actually closed below this low as well, and it was also closed below. Hi guys, thank you for listening to this video. Just really quickly wanted to touch on a really exciting offer we have on the website. It's a limited time offer, and if you head over to zenfinex.co.uk, you will see the offer in front of you straight away. And this is that you can trade Forex on a standard account with raw spread plus zero commission. And now Zenfinex is also an FCA and no dealing desk execution broker. If you are interested in this offer, you can get in touch with the team by clicking learn more, or you can simply go to open an account where you can start the application process. This low. Most significantly, probably this one here, because this is the most recent low that was formed, and we've actually created a new lower low, and we're actually coming up, and you can see what I find really significant is when I zoom in on this, you can see we've created this this double top almost, where price was looking like potentially that it was going to break out and break these lows up here, these highs up here, and then we may have been looking for some more short-term bullish price action, but the reaction that I've seen from these highs up here is a wick right below the 100-day moving average. We threatened to close above and couldn't. Two tests that we had here. One was the 100-day moving average. The other was this high here. Both failed, which I think is quite significant in my trading strategy anyway. And now we have a situation where if anyone wants to be selling this silver market, and this is a factor I mention every time I go on the charts because it is important, where's the liquidity? And you can see that the liquidity was now going to be sitting on these highs here. So anyone who's got a sell on would probably have their stop losses just above these highs. That makes perfect sense. I get that. but obviously the big players know this, and I would like a situation where maybe we get another quick run up in silver before the policy meeting or before the jobs report next week, and then we can actually start to look to sell down. And I think my take profit levels for November, I can personally see us testing these lows once more, down at 21.4. Let me just mark that as a take profit level. You can see as well that the risk drop that we've had on the RSI indicator, we were approaching, not actually in, but approaching some overbought territory, but we don't need to see that. So that's my play for silver. I'm going to be patient on this market. At the same time, I'm a bit wary that maybe the move will happen without me, without doing this liquidity grab, but it does tend to kind of get drawn towards that liquidity, because liquidity is always a magnet for prices. But we are in this order block level, and anyone who would have sold, because in this order block level, this daily order block, would be in a trade right now where, and I actually missed this trade, which is annoying. And if you wanted to target the lows, that's around a 13 risk reward trade, which for me would have been worth it, even though I know there's liquidity sitting above there. Another important factor that I wanted to mention as well is that we do have still some inefficient pricing in here. So this just adds to this narrative where I think price is going to be drawn to this liquidity level, but also to this fair value gap as well, where price is inefficient. You can see here where we had this gap. We haven't quite filled that yet, so you can see that my selling positions at the moment is I'm going to have a sell situated here with my stop loss just above, because this is where I think we've got another order block here. Let me just mark that for you. Order block entry. You can see that from this level here, we had this break of structure, which is where the main bulk of that sell came from. People might want to be a bit more cautious and have their order block as this candle here, this wick, but the 200-day moving average is sitting at this order block as well, and I think there's going to be enough resistance there that we're going to get a push down. So here I'm going to have my sell limit at 25.1. I'm going to target the lows down at 21.4. That's where I can see silver heading for November. That's my early predictions. It's really important, obviously, that we listen to the Federal Reserve meeting next week and also the jobs report. All of this is going to cause volatility in the silver market. But yeah, that's my play. That's the player I'm looking for. So I don't want to confuse anyone else with any of my other thoughts, because that's what I see the most. We may get a situation where with this 200-day moving average, we may actually get a retest and it may just continue to go down. But I will still be patient, knowing that there's a pool of liquidity sitting above these highs, looking to fill that liquidity, touch into our order block level, and a sell down into 21.4, which is an 8.26 risk reward ratio trade. So that's my early November predictions for silver. As always, I'm going to give an update once we have the important policy meeting next week from the Federal Reserve. What's Jerome Powell going to talk about in terms of, we know he's going to announce tapering, pretty sure that's going to happen. How is he going to talk about the interest rate hike questions, which are surely going to come his way? Some really interesting times in the markets. I hope everyone's enjoyed this video as well. If you could like and subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed it, that'd be great. We're going to carry on with our November forecast next week, and yeah, make sure you drop your comments in the comment section as well. Other than that, I hope everyone has a great weekend. Hope everyone's had a great trading week, and I'll catch you all next week.